Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. We hang out with your Beeville Bees all throughout their seasons. And we also do some things called Off the Rails with Al Romano. We do our NFL draft show here. We do our mock draft. And we've done this thing the last couple of years where we bring you into a Buffalo Bills game. Nothing more important than this current game with the Buffalo Bills, as they will take on the Kansas City Chiefs. For the first time in forever, Kansas City has to go to Buffalo. I am here with Jeff Cook, the president of the Beeville Bills Backers, and this is a Beeville Bills Backers bar. The Pizza Man Pub is a proud supporter of the Buffalo Bills and jam-packs itself with Bills fans. So, Jeff Cook, a.k.a. Cookie, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for having me on again, Dan. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pick is under my shirt, so I will be showing everybody who my pick is. You can see that it's red, but both teams are red, so you have no idea who I'm picking?
Yep.
I'm either going to get booed or I'm going to crowd surf.
That's I haven't made my pick either, so that's huge.
That's good. I'm happy you did. You could just be like trying to make everybody.
No, it could be under my shirt.
Pull the switcheroo there.
Yeah.
So you're you've been a Bills fan since birth, right?
Yep.
How do we feel about Buffalo right now? This season's been kind of a roller coaster.
I love it. I've never felt better about the Bills right now.
Okay, so you're feeling very good.
Yeah. Last year going into that Cincinnati game, I was like, you know what? The DeMar Hamlin thing, this team is drained. It is what it is. This year, it's like they're peaking at the right time. That Pittsburgh game, you had Josh. They're if not now, when? That's what I've been saying all week.
And I've been thinking that for the last 3 years here is this team has, they got something. It's just in these crucial games, these crucial moments, these last couple of years, it's been kind of just that one next move to get over the hump. Now they've dealt with injuries. They lost, the Hydes of the world, and Milano's having injuries and whatnot. They had trouble with their running backs holding on to the ball. They had trouble with the running backs in general. We had some Josh Allen moments against Cincinnati in the past. It kind of feels like Buffalo, especially last year, beat themselves more than Cincinnati beat them in the playoffs. Now they have a shot against Kansas City again, which is literally this David and Goliath feeling every single year. It's the one thing that stands between them and moving forward.
So I look at it as this way. Josh, this whole year you've watched it. It's been a roller coaster, obviously.
Yeah.
These last, I don't know, even the Philly game where they lost, Josh has matured within I've watched the maturity. And then you hear the guys say, it's not just on the field, in the locker room, everything.
Yeah.
They're mature, they're ready, they've seen everything, they've had the battle scars.
Yeah.
And again, this is what they wanted. They wanted Mahomes to come to their house, and they got their wish, so see what they do.
This is a different Kansas City team this year. This is a Kansas City team that I said back in early October has literally rested on score between 20 to the mid-20s and then just play defense. They've been this 20, 25, 24, 26 type of team, and then their defense has been better than it's been in the past. What are your thoughts on this Kansas City team that's obviously been successful? They've won games. They got double-digit wins in the regular season. They got to the postseason, but they're doing it in a way that has not been as explosive.
So the last time they played in the game that we prefer not to talk about, that was offense on both sides.
Right.
They're two different teams, both of them.
Yeah.
Kansas City is defense first right now.
Right.
Buffalo, somehow, I know everyone wants to harp on him, but Sean McDermott, he's done a great job on that defense. That's been plug and play, next man up.
Yeah.
They've done a great job, and it's going to be weird to see, all right, we're not going to see 350 and 4 from each guy. But it's also good. I think it's going to come down to, just like it was, it'll come down to the last possession, but it won't be 37-34. It'll be 24-20, which is good.
And we also have to remember that they changed the overtime rules in the postseason because Josh Allen didn't have the opportunity to get the ball back in a shootout a couple of years ago. So
greatest playoff performance in a loss we've ever seen.
Well, and you look at that game, and arguably, I feel like there would have been 3 or 4 overtimes the way those teams were playing.
Yeah, they might still be playing.
Right. to this at this moment.
Yeah, right.
That could have somehow eclipsed the 6 overtime Syracuse game.
Yeah, no, Bass would have missed a field goal.
Yeah. So I mean, now we have the Josh Allen rule, which is great because Brady got his own rule. Now Josh Allen has his own rule.
Right.
So
Are you saying that Brady got his own rule and won 7 Super Bowls or 6? Are you telling me
that Brady got it? Oh, Brady definitely.
You Josh gonna get
his own. Oh,
couple 6, 7 Super Bowls.
It would be nice to see for Western New York and upstate New York and all of New York and the Buffalo Bills fans that are all around the world. Wouldn't it be?
It would be nice.
So.
Just one.
Actually, yeah, I know. I feel. And now listen though. We talked about this before. Jim Kelly, Josh Allen. Like people know I'm a card carrying Jaguar, and so. But I have this just appreciation for Josh Allen. I had an appreciation for Jim Kelly. In between the two, I got to meet Doug Flutie and spend some time with Doug Flutie, which was amazing. But to me, Jim Kelly and Josh Allen, those have been the guys, the faces, that just feeling of if you didn't have them, the world would be different. They wouldn't be in the playoffs. Let's go into the Josh Allen factor. How do you define Josh Allen right now?
Where do you want me to start?
Wherever you'd like to. I'm gonna lead you into.
You're talking about my first alternate Pro Bowl, Josh Allen.
Oh yeah, first alternate, not the second alternate.
No, first
honorable
alternate,
mention.
and
Honorable
that's my
mention.
guy. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna start with this. I think Buffalo wins 4 games max without Josh Allen.
Okay.
So we get into the MVP talk.
Yeah.
We can talk about Lamar. Okay, Tyler Huntley played last year and got him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so is he the most valuable player? Probably not. Because if Huntley can get you the playoffs.
Well, and you know the people will argue with you that
I know.
Without a healthy Lamar Jackson, this team doesn't go anywhere.
No, I know that.
And
they forget that just 1 calendar year ago, Tyler Huntley brought them to the play. He played in the playoff game. He almost beat the Bengals.
Right. That was a good game. Watch that game on the road.
If Kyle Allen is playing for the Bills, they're not winning. They're going to win 3 to 4 games.
Right.
Josh Allen, he accounts for 90% of touchdowns.
What about Nathan Peterman?
Well, because of Nathan Peterman, Josh Allen got to start. Oh, wait. Craig Reynolds. Sorry to interrupt. He went to Kutztown, my alma mater. Touchdown.
There you go. Craig Reynolds.
Yeah.
Show some love.
Kutztown. Also, Andre Reed.
I got to shout out my buddy, the resident Central New York Detroit Lions fan, my buddy Johnny Roberts. Johnny, I love you to pieces. I want to see you be happy and have a great time. 31 years between playoff wins. I was 7 the last time Detroit had won a playoff game from last week to when I was 7 years old.
So you funny say, I don't count. Everyone's like, oh, you were alive for the 4 Super Bowl losses.
Yeah. I
was 3 months old, a year, 2, and 3.
Just like
I'm not counting that.
I don't count that Villanova won a championship because it was in '85, but I wasn't born yet. It was March.
Yeah, but then, Raleigh got you, and then Jay got you too.
But I'm talking about that. I was like, I'm not going to count that in my birth year. That doesn't count.
I always I laugh about that. Everyone's like, oh, the Bills are this. I go, I wasn't around for it.
Yeah,
my first playoff win, I had 2 children.
Yeah. So
and I didn't have kids in high school.
It's been a long time, Cookie.
Yeah, I didn't have kids in high school. So back to sorry for the Craig Reynolds attraction. Kutztown, gotta give him love.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen's everything to Buffalo. That's it. I mean, I've accepted. We got, God, I prayed 10 more years of greatness, and I've accepted what comes afterwards because I've seen it before that.
Yeah.
I think and I honestly don't think I'd get a lot of argument from this. I think on a talent-wise of what he can do, he's the best we've seen. And I'm not talking accomplishments. I'm not talking what he does on a football field.
Oh, he does something that Tom Brady didn't really do, which run.
He runs, but that's. You don't see a quarterback that's a run that also has the best arm in the league.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. I mean, when you look at current arms in the league, there's some guys that could, and I got to give it up to who I consider the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, C.J. Stroud. There's some arms in the NFL.
Can you imagine drafting Bryce Young?
I could, because I actually sat here when Al and I talked about it, and I said, Al, they're going to draft Bryce Young, but I don't like the pick. I said repeatedly, this is what I'm predicting based on analysis of teams, but I don't.
No, I'm talking about there's a difference between predicting because we knew we had an idea of what's happening.
Like this was going to happen, but I wouldn't have done
it. Imagine watching.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, Stroud, and Anthony Richardson all play and being like, I want Bryce Young. Bryce Young is my height. I'm 5'8" on a great day.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too, and I'm also 5'8", thank you. Yeah. But when I look at Bryce Young, I mean, there was one game this year where he was coming off the field at the end of the game, and he was just like this.
Yeah, yeah.
He was just bug-eyed, and it looked like the guy was like, what did I get? Why am I here? What did I get myself into?
No, and that's the thing. I mean, look at David Tepper. David Tepper's like, oh, I'm a billionaire. I have all blah, 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 blah. I know football. You know.
Well, you're looking for a GM now.
Yeah.
In Carolina. They're looking for their third head coach in 3 years.
They haven't interviewed a head coach.
Which is nuts.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, Jesus, what do we do? Tepper might be the head coach.
Well, and I mean, looking for the GM, Scott Fitterer's gone. Because I said that after you now are going on 3 head coaches in 3 years and constantly changing quarterbacks like underwear, at this point you have to put it on the GM. You have to put it on the front office. You can't put it on the coach.
But I wouldn't work for Tepper. I mean, I would, but personally. But back to so Josh Allen, he is Buffalo. He's everything the dude literally had to get student loans out to go to JUCO.
Yeah.
He couldn't get anybody to him. Then he has a great JUCO. He had 52 touchdowns in JUCO. And he's like, endless letters.
Yeah.
Wyoming, the only person. After he got an offer from Wyoming, his hometown team was Fresno State.
Do you know who almost went to Wyoming?
Dungy
was going to go there.
He committed or whatever he did to go to Syracuse. That's why Josh went there.
Well, and when
think about that.
Oh, and that's the thing is you would have had those 2 guys going up against each other. 2 guys that can run, 2 guys that'll do whatever it takes to get a first down. But Josh Allen is not a Pro Bowler according to the NFL and the fans. So
my first alternate.
Should we talk about some of your statistics on why Josh Allen doesn't make sense as a Pro Bowler?
So here's the thing. Everyone gets very overwhelmed about these turnovers.
I'm just gonna hold that like that. There you go.
Everyone gets overwhelmed about the turnovers.
That's the NFL trying to cut your feet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, probably because I'm pro Josh.
Yeah.
So they get worked up about the turnovers, and I gave you the stat sheet as well. So Josh had 44 total touchdowns, 22 turnovers.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Pro Bowlers ahead of him, first team starting Pro Bowler, Tua, 29 touchdowns, 19 turnovers. So you ask yourself, your quarterback starts with 15 touchdowns and 3 picks, you're probably pretty fired up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And where's Tua right now?
At home.
Okay.
Also doesn't play well against good defense.
Correct. Yeah, they have 1 win against a team above 500.
Yeah.
Lamar, I'm not going to take anything away from Lamar. He's a different player, and I get that. But, let's not pretend the fact, again, Tyler Huntley was plug and play last year, and they weren't as successful, but they were successful.
I get your point that Josh Allen means more to Buffalo than Lamar would mean to Baltimore, but I think that without Lamar, Baltimore always loses in the playoffs.
I agree with you, but that was only Lamar's second playoff win. He was 1 of 3 going into that.
Yeah. And Lamar's, he's a different bird. He's also, when I said that he was going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL and that I thought he was going to be a good quarterback and that he was going to play quarterback and that he is a quarterback, and I interviewed him for years at Louisville and spent, 3 years around him and Bobby Petrino, the head coach at the time. I backed Lamar Jackson to crickets back then.
Oh, it was a great pick at 32. I thought the Patriots were going to take him. Remember that year, 23.
But when I said he would be a quarterback in the NFL and he'd be successful, I genuinely felt like I was in a room by myself.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how I felt about Josh Allen.
But I loved his arm, and I think I talked about it. I was watching his Wyoming film, and I think I might have been sitting here at one point with it, and I was like, I didn't realize how great this guy was because I wasn't watching Wyoming games, right? And no disrespect to Wyoming, just wasn't watching the games on the West Coast.
Not on the radar.
Yeah, and a lot of them not on television. And so I just looked at some of his film going into the draft, and I remember thinking to myself, holy crap. And I loved his arm. Then I saw him, the first time I realized that Josh Allen could run was unfortunately when I went to a Bills-Jaguars game in Buffalo, the game that Leonard Fournette decided to punch people with his hands to a helmet.
Was that the game where Jalen Ramsey decided to say he thought that was a trash pick for the Bills?
Oh, it was when Jalen Ramsey was just really trying to entice as many people to hate him as possible.
I think that's a bad pick. And since then, did you know Ramsey's 0-4 against Josh?
Well, and I couldn't wait to get Ramsey out of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But in that game, Josh had 8 carries for 100 yards. And I remember stepping back going, I knew this guy could pass. I knew that he had an arm that I love. But holy mother, did I not know he could run. And ever since I watched that game, he really hasn't stopped running. So
I know, and that's what's funny. You know, he's obviously I know he's not a Pro Bowler, but he did tie with Hurts. He had 15 rushing touchdowns this year. He had 8 in December.
It's crazy.
He had 8 in December as a primarily passing quarterback.
Where's Jalen Hurts right now?
Hurts is at home.
He's also at home, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he had 15. That's ridiculous.
15 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, and there's 8 in December. So when Joe Brady took over the offense, and Joe Brady said it, he goes, "You're doing a disservice to yourself by telling Josh Allen to be something that he's not."
Right.
And that's a direct shot at Ken Dorsey. I think Dorsey's a brilliant mind, but I think he's why can't Josh run my offense?
Right.
Instead of building around.
That's what Dino tried to do. First year he said Eric's not going to run. Second year he said, well, we can't stop him from being who he is.
Yeah, right, yeah. And then he was pushed, yeah. Right. So it was, you know, and I know everybody, my father included, says, oh, McDermott, he's a problem. Yeah. Every coach has their problems. Everyone. There's not a, what coach you're like, man, I wish they did this differently.
Yeah.
The hate piece comes out on McDermott. That usually folds a team. They won 5 in a row. They won out. They won 6 now in a row.
Yeah.
Like, there's something to that. And I think you've been in locker rooms. You've done that. Like, is there anything more important than your team believing in your coach? Like, that's number one.
Oh, yeah.
And they believe in it.
And believing in your quarterback. Because I said Jalen Ramsey was fine in the locker room.
Well, that wasn't hard to do.
For the most part. No. But I was like, Jalen Ramsey was fine in the locker room when the team was winning. And I said, watch when Blake loses what Jalen does.
I actually remember, I remember you saying that.
And so, and that wasn't fun at all. But, I mean, you in the middle of the season, people were asking for Sean McDermott to be fired. Is he on the hot seat? It's time for him to go. The game has passed. I mean, there was so much hate for Sean McDermott in the middle of the season.
They were 6-6 after the Eagles lost.
Yeah.
The Cowboys were 10-2, and the Dolphins were 9-3, and only one team won their division. The Bills at 6-6.
Yeah.
That is a state. When that hit piece came out, I remember talking to my dad. I remember. It's going one of two ways. They're going to rally around this. They're going to rattle off 5 in a row, or they're just going to fold and go 7-10, and McDermott gets fired. But no, I mean, that says a lot to me about McDermott. Yes, he has his flaws, of course.
Yeah.
He's one of the few defensive coaches left. But you get a group of 53 millionaire professionals to rally around you, that means something.
Well, you know, and when you see how this team has found its way. I mean, we were looking at a team that came in so strong. I picked them to win the division. I was quoted as saying, I got the Bills winning the division, but if Tua stays healthy, I won't be surprised if Miami finds a way to win the division, and it came down to literally the two of them at the end of the season. But I said Buffalo before the season even started, and watching it through, there's this thing where Buffalo starts to falter, which the last couple of years didn't happen until the tail end of the season. Now they're faltering. Then they're out of the playoffs. They go into the last week with the biggest jump that they could have. Go from out of the playoffs to into the playoffs to not a wild card team to winning the division to being the 2 seed. And they did everything they needed to do. They played the games ahead of them. And so they literally had this like strong start, hopeful start. Maybe people not as hyped as the last 2 years, maybe a little bit more optimistic, but maybe a little more quiet or a little more subdued. And then you have the struggles during the season, and they find a way to get in. Where is this Buffalo team compared to the teams of the last couple of years? Are they stronger because of how they played at this point? Are they higher up? Where are we at?
And this is actually my honest. I think they're head and shoulders above what they were. And I firmly believe. I think last year, like I said, you go in that Cincinnati game, the Damar Hamlin thing.
Yeah.
Josh's help. I mean, dude needed Tommy John. He didn't have it. Like, they were tired, mentally, physically, everything. They were exhausted.
Yeah.
I woke up. I remember that. I was like, I texted one of my best friends. He's a Bengals fan. I was like, I think you're gonna have it today. Like, it was. That's a lot. I mean, it was a situation we've never seen before. They went through. The year before that. Obviously, I mean, I thought that was their year. I mean, 13 seconds. Josh was brilliant. The year before that, I thought when they lost to the Chiefs in the AFC title, I was like, they're a year ahead of schedule at the time.
Yeah.
And now it's, so this is as confident as I've been. Josh is mature. McDermott has matured this season, halfway through, like he is. And it's, I keep saying it, if this is what you wanted, if it's not now, when is it? So it's time.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, so now we're in this game. We got the Chiefs. Like we said, the Chiefs are a different team right now than they typically have been when they've gone up against the Bills. They've been the Bills' Achilles heel. So now we got a Bills offense that we know can score, but we also have a defense that we know could do some good things and make some takeaways and make the game interesting. Then we have a Chiefs team where they're leaning more on their defense than their offense, and one of the catalysts that's been stepping up is Rashee Rice, who I covered in college at SMU, and we're also seeing Travis Kelce drop some balls for the first time in forever, and I wonder if that's the Taylor Swift factor.
But as a Bills fan, you never assume, because he's going to catch all those balls.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Bills fan. I mean,
Right.
assume the worst,
Right.
and be happy with the best. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts on Rashee Rice?
I love that dude. I loved him at SMU.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Heck of a player.
He's, for that system, it's just like he can build off the Kelce thing. He goes across the middle. He can go deep. He's awesome. Yes, he's remarkable.
So of the weapons that they have this time around, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, obviously Kelce being there again, what do you think about Kansas City's offense? Is this...
There's no Tyreek Hill.
Right. So there's no 13 seconds. There's no...
I'll take, you can have Rice, you can have Pacheco,
yeah,
and add all that. There's no Tyreek Hill to account for, because you got to account for Tyreek Hill, then who you count Kelce for?
of a guy who can make a play at the end of the game when you need it. We know Mahomes can do pretty much anything. We know Allen can also do a very rare form of things. If this game comes down to a couple points with 2 minutes to go, and we're in a 2-minute drill, who do you think is better off this season, Kansas City or Buffalo?
So record won't show it, but it's Buffalo. So the Buffalo's got 6 losses this year. 4 of them, Josh gave them the lead with 2 minutes left, or less. The defense faltered. That was earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So here's what I say to everybody, and I've said this is kind of off the 2-minute drill, but if Buffalo's got the ball on their side of the field and they got 5 yards less, I'd rather lose with the ball in Josh's hands than Bass or any kicker. I'd rather lose the ball in your best player's hands.
Yeah.
Period. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, and now, like we said, we'll get to see this, but there was something said last week about Josh Allen. They said any other quarterback in the game that they had last week, he would have carried the ball for the first down, right? He sees plays, and he doesn't find anybody out there in the field. He takes off. He's going to get the first down. He's going to get, over 10 yards, 12 yards, whatever, and then he's going to slide. Josh Allen decides not to slide. He stays upright, and he goes for a 52-yard touchdown. And over again we hear, if not Josh Allen, every other quarterback's going to go to the ground in most cases. But in his case, he's going to fight for that touchdown. He's going to battle for it. Your thoughts on that? The fact that you have a quarterback that is saying, okay, that's where the marker is, that's where I need to get to, but he will do everything in his power to score. He's willing to take the hits. He's willing to get the bruises. He's willing to put this team on his back.
So I say this, I go, what other quarterbacks are 6'5", 240? If it takes a year off the end of his career, he'll say it, I'll say it. If that, say they get a Super Bowl and you're going to lose 2 years to Josh Allen at the end of his career being the Super Bowl, I'll take it.
Right.
As Joe Brady said, you're doing a disservice if you're telling Josh Allen to not beat Josh Allen. And that's what I say. It's something we've never seen. Like, everyone's like, oh, Big Ben. Big Ben did not run like that.
No, not like that.
No. They say Elway. Elway didn't. I don't know. I didn't see enough of Elway in his prime. But
well, and there's a difference because Lamar Jackson will run all over the field but doesn't have as good of an arm as Josh Allen. Josh Allen's got the arm, and then he can take off and get you a couple touchdowns on the ground.
Did you see that run when that number 23, the safety, Kazee is it? He went up to hit him full speed on that 52-yard run. Josh didn't flinch, and it was just I'm like, oh my
keeps going.
Like, so no, I'll take it every day. So your question was, what do you think about that? That's Josh. I've said it. My dad drives him nuts. He's like, "Well, Josh, get down." I'm like, "Dad, it's just not Josh. It's not him." And you know, if he only lasts 12 years and not 14, so be it. But it would probably a great 12 years.
Right, but you're going to play the game the way you want to play the game. I mean, John Elway was gritty, and I would argue that he was more willing to put his body on the line toward the end of his career and be gritty on the goal line.
He played 16 years.
Yeah. We got some thoughts coming in here. Let's go Kutztown. Josh Allen's numbers through 6 years are better than Brady.
They are.
Other than titles, which cannot be overlooked. That coming from Bill. Robertson, Kansas City, Cushing of Janesville, DeWitt, a local Wyoming Cowboy. Can't forget him. We got these up too. We'll take a look at these. Buffalo loaded the box against the Steelers. Can they do that against Kansas City? Mahomes armed with Kelsey, or will they have to defend both run and pass conservatively? Here's my thing. I understand Isaiah Pacheco can have big-time games, and maybe he's waiting to break one, but I'm not as sold on him. And I told everybody about James Cook 2 years ago. I covered him at Georgia, interviewed him at Georgia, watched him win a championship in Georgia, and I said James Cook will eventually take Devin Singletary and Zach Moss out of a job because he's going to be able to do everything, and they're not going to need either one of those guys. Everybody's high on James Cook right now. People want James Cook cards. They want his autograph. They're James Cook drafting him in fantasy football, but I talked to them about this guy 2 years ago, and there was a lot of silence with that, but James Cook is definitely doing his thing, and I would choose him over Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't think it's close in that respect.
I agree with you. And, you know, my dad being a Dogs fan, he wanted Cook, and I loved Cook. I remember sitting with you, we did the draft. I was like, man, they're going to draft Breece Hall. Remember that? And then they drafted Cook in that draft the next day. So I think he's definitely, him and Kincaid are, and Shakir. Shakir is an X factor.
Yeah. Khalil Shakir, another guy who didn't go down, catch the ball over the middle, keeps playing, keeps pushing, and you see how he just works his way. Not a big guy, not a giant guy, not a tall guy, and he got the ball and he just fought his way in.
And it goes back to he was drafted in the 5th round because he didn't test well. These guys make a lot of money, and we're like, oh, they didn't run this route well. They're gonna drop.
Right.
Stroud didn't test well on paper.
Right.
Stroud didn't test well on an IQ test.
Because they look at the 40.
Off the charts. How'd that work?
Right. They look at the 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
And that's something that they always want to talk about.
I look at this. I go, and you look at it. You watch. You can just put them next to each other.
Yeah.
The Stroud Young thing. There's no debate who you're taking. You're taking Stroud.
Right.
Just watch him. Who can go on Sundays? Look at the size, everything.
Yeah.
You got Bryce Young is.
You watch
Billy
CJ
Rumble's
Stroud.
height and
You watch Stroud play on his feet at the beginning of the game and throw a bomb down the field for a touchdown, and I'm like, okay, well the game started about 13 seconds ago, but that's what we're doing. So looking at some of these numbers here, so I mean this is looking at overall stats between Brady and Josh Allen. I mean almost 100 games. Completion percentage for Josh 63.2. Tom Brady, 61.9. Passing yards for Josh, 22,703. For Tom Brady, 21,564. Passing yards per attempt, 7.2 for Allen, 7.0 for Tom Brady. Passing yards per game, 241.5 for Josh Allen, 224.6 for Brady. Passing touchdowns, 167 for Josh, 147 for Brady. Interceptions are the same with 78. And then we look at rushing attempts. 657 for Josh in almost 100 games. For Brady, 236. And then beyond that, 239. And then we look at rushing yards, 3,611 for Josh Allen, 435 for Brady. Over 5 yards a carry for Josh Allen, under 2 yards a carry for Tom Brady.
And 53 rushing touchdowns.
Right. So you look at all of the numbers of that statistical analysis of 94 games for Josh, 96 for Tom Brady, almost 100 games apiece. And Josh Allen eclipses him in every single statistic, passing and rushing, and then they tie each other in interceptions.
And so I'm going to end this with a really cool stat I saw.
Yeah.
20 years ago to the day, Peyton Manning against Brady, both on the road in the playoffs. 2004 today. First time Manning hosts Brady. He's 0-2. Manning beats him. It's all coming together.
Coming together. All right, well, I think
20 years to the day, which is wild.
Which is nuts. You made your pick. It's obviously Buffalo.
No, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
But I have to make my pick.
All right.
In order to make my pick, I have to officially show
Go do it.
the red shirt that's underneath. I'm either going to get cheered or booed at Pizza Man, where the Beeville Bills backers are.
Dan. If there's a...
You guys ready? Going with Josh.
Boy!
Going with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Don't even make score prediction. Whatever.
Yeah.
Go Bills.
Go
Go Bills.
So
that.
going with Josh, this is the only game I did not pick until right now. So when you watch and listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as you know, during our normal broadcast scheduled times, you are with us, of course, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Watch and listen around the world, of course, here in Central and Upstate New York on YouTube.com and Facebook.com/Wake Up Call DT. And on internet streaming radio worldwide on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. I reserve the right to not make this pick because I wanted to make it tonight. I did choose the Ravens, who won. I chose the Niners, who won. Last week I went 4-2, and I chose the Detroit Lions, who are currently winning. So we shall see, but it is time for me to bid you all adieu with Cookie, because we need to put our order in for pizza and wings. By the way, if you're gonna get thank you, sir. If you're gonna get the DT order, this is what the DT order is at Pizza Man: sweet heat pizza and extra crispy lemon pepper wings with a little side of some hot honey. Yep. That's what I'm getting tonight. What are you getting, Cook? What's your food of choice?
No idea.
You don't know yet? All
Actually, you know what? My favorite wings, extra crispy, buffalo garlic.
All right, buffalo garlic here. Buffalo garlic. You had to get something with buffalo.
And I know
in
this
it.
is odd, but how about a garlic pizza with pepperoni on it?
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's a tremendous choice.
We actually did a thing where we made our own pizzas here. Al Romano and I, we had a good time. So now you guys know all of my picks. You knew the 3 going into this week. You now know that I am going with the Buffalo Bills, and I will talk with you tomorrow morning. We'll see if I was right. Cookie, until then, for Jeff Cook, the Beeville Bills backers, and my Buffalo Bills fans that are in the room at Pizza Man, I need to hear some Buffalo Bills love. So how do you want to do it? You want to do it with a clap? You want to do it with a, what do you want to do? Let's go Buffalo? What do we want to do?
Just one, let's go Buffalo.
All right, so I'm going to do it on 3. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I want to hear let's go Buffalo. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go Buffalo!
Buffalo Bills, circle them wagons, baby.
Bills.
And by the way, to my buddy Mark Walczyk, who is overseas in Afghanistan, a huge Bills fan, I hope you get to see it. I love you to pieces. Thank you for serving our country.
Thank you.